Some of my content has mention of extreme violence, sexual assault, and/or other triggering content. Discretion is advised. Missing person cases are wild. They are fascinating. And today's story is no different. Today we're talking about Daniel Robinson, a young geologist that drove into the Arizona desert and just disappeared. As we get further and further in, things get weirder and weirder and weirder. So, what really happened to Daniel Robinson? Where did he go? Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, Dark Enigmas, where we talk about all the mysteries that are on the darker side. And today we have a missing persons case that is baffling. I found out about this case because there is a post going around from Daniel Robinson's mom asking for help getting media attention, and I couldn't ignore it, and so I started just researching it. And I had seen Daniel Robinson's face, I'm sure as many of you have, being connected to popular white women missing cases. And Daniel's, it seems, just got pushed to the side, which is interesting. I had seen his face, so I thought there was a lot of media coverage. But as I dove deeper, there really wasn't. And it's very sad because the things that happened to Daniel, very interesting. And we still don't know where he is. This is still a missing persons case. And this goes deep. So buckle up and let me tell you about Daniel. So who is Daniel? So he was a 24-year-old and he was living in Arizona at the time of his disappearance. Daniel loved rocks and he had a rock collection growing up. And he landed a job as a field geologist outside of Phoenix after graduating college in 2019. The job kept him moving, basically around sites in the desert heat. However, he loved his job. He loved talking about rocks. He loved talking about rock formations, and he just really enjoyed his job. Now, Daniel was also born with a partial right arm, but his family said that that never stopped him from doing what he wanted to do. So what happened to Daniel? Well, he went missing on June 23rd this year, and his disappearance is very weird. It leaves a lot of unanswered questions. So Daniel was last seen leaving his job site in the area of Sun Valley Parkway and Cactus Road in Buckeye, Arizona, around 9:15 a.m. on June 23rd. He was supposedly taking pictures and working with one other guy that was kind of new. He didn't really know Daniel very well, but he said that he was acting odd. Daniel was just staring off into space, and the guy thought maybe at first that he was on drugs, but as he looked into Daniel's eyes, it didn't seem like they were dilated. He was just acting off. And then all of a sudden, Daniel went to his car, got in, waved goodbye, and the coworker said he drove off. The coworker was baffled because Daniel was driving west, further into the desert, and not back where he came from. Soon, word got back to his sister that Daniel was missing, and she called her dad up and told him that Daniel hadn't come home. They tried to do a missing persons report, but because Daniel was an adult, they were told to wait 48 hours. Which is something we've seen a lot, but back in the day, not 2021. To me, it seemed weird to wait 48 hours because this is a man lost in the desert heat. I mean, temperatures get over 100 degrees all the time there. And 48 hours came and went and no sign of Daniel. So the police got involved, of course. Daniel's father said that they did like a 2-hour search and came up with nothing. So Daniel's family took it upon themselves to go look for their son. They had done weekend searches for Daniel every weekend since his disappearance. It's so weird. It's as if Daniel just vanished into the desert. However, almost a month after he went missing, on July 19th, a rancher noticed a vehicle, and it was Daniel's. It appeared that the vehicle had rolled over and sustained a lot of damage. The car was found in a ravine only a few miles from the job site. 3 miles. This was in the perimeter that the police searched. It was in a ravine 20 feet down. All right, guys, so this is where it gets wild. Are you ready? Okay. Daniel's cell phone, wallet, and keys were all found in the Jeep. Now, his wallet was semi-empty. It didn't have any cash in it, but it did have credit cards. And we don't know if Daniel had any cash, and I don't carry cash on me, so I don't know if Daniel did or not. There was evidence saying that he was wearing his seatbelt and the airbags deployed. Near the crash site were Daniel's clothing: shirt, pants, underwear, and 2 mismatched socks, as well as his shoes. They found his boots, and one was lodged underneath the vehicle. They did say that these were the clothes that Daniel was wearing when he left the job site. Now, could he have changed after the crash? I guess that's possible, but it's very odd. Did he just walk into the desert without any clothes on? Because of the lack of support that they were getting from the media and also from investigators, the Robinson family hired a private investigator, and he further assisted in the crash and the crime scene. What the private investigator found was definitely puzzling. There were supposedly 40 ignition cycles after the car had crashed, but not in the ravine. So that means that the car collided with something else. There was, I guess, a red paint transfer on Daniel's car, but there was no indication of anything that he hit. So was it another car? Was it just something? And in between the time that he had crashed into whatever red thing this was, he had started, or someone had started, the vehicle more than 40 times. There was also an 11-mile discrepancy. Where was the car driving for 11 miles in between? It's just really bizarre. Also, Daniel was not found. His body wasn't found. He's just gone. It's the beginning of December right now, so that's 6 months that we haven't found Daniel or any evidence of Daniel. Now, I know you're wondering, because I was wondering too. There was no reports of blood at the scene. It seemed he just walked away into the desert. The investigators did say that it had rained, but I feel like it wouldn't wash away all the evidence. Now, in late July, the searchers looking for Daniel found something very interesting. It was a human skull, and it was pretty close to the crash site. Unfortunately, it was not Daniel's, and we still don't know whose skull this was. Now, Buckeye police say that they have covered 70 square miles using all-terrain vehicles, cadaver dogs, a drone, and a helicopter. It's also important to note that the vehicle, the belongings, and the apartment that Daniel was living in was all turned over to Daniel's family pretty close after he went missing. Buckeye police said that this is not a foul play case. They don't suspect foul play at all. They say that even though Daniel's Jeep was found in such a weird condition. Also, another weird fact in this case is that Daniel's social media, his Instagram, has been deleted. No one knows if that was after the crash or before. He has also made no contact with his family. So let's talk about some of the weird behavior that Daniel had before his disappearance. So the day before Daniel went missing, he had exchanged some text messages with a woman that he, quote unquote, was obsessed with. This woman has only been identified as Caitlin, who he met while working his second job as an Instacart driver. Robertson arrived at her house while delivering her liquor, of all things, and Caitlin said that her and her friend were very drunk and invited Daniel in. The two exchanged numbers, were friendly with each other, and within a week, Daniel arrived to her house unannounced. Now, this behavior by Daniel is completely unacceptable. It's scary and it's not okay. But I think it's important to tell both sides of this story. Daniel supposedly wrote her text saying, "I love you. I couldn't stop thinking about you." The final text from Daniel right before he went missing was very weird. It stated, "The world can get better, but I'll have to take all the time I can, or we can, whatever to name it. I'll either see you again or never see you again." This text has been interpreted in a lot of different ways, and we really don't know the intentions behind it. Now, the actions of this girl is completely understandable. She told Daniel she's not interested in pursuing a relationship with him, and he kept pursuing it, which is not okay. But this could give us some insight into what Daniel's mental state was like before he left. Everyone interviewed in this case seemed to think that Daniel was having some odd behavior everywhere. There was reports that he had left his apartment door open for a long time, that he had been staring off into space a lot, and that he had disappeared from contact for a chunk of time, but then returned. Also, he was talking about this girl a lot. So with all the evidence we have, what the heck happened to Daniel? One of the biggest theories in this case is suicide. That he was upset over this girl, or maybe the state of his life, and just decided to commit suicide. It's very odd that he decided to do it in the way that he did, walking off into the desert. I mean, maybe he was trying to crash his car, but then to take off all your clothes and run into the desert is a weird way to commit suicide. And on top of that, we have not found a body. I mean, could it be in a ravine or somewhere that we don't know? Absolutely. But it's just very odd. Another theory in this case is, of course, homicide. You do have that instance that the private investigator brought up, that there was paint transfer of something red. Did he get in a wreck with someone? Maybe there was an altercation and they made him disappear? I mean, it's odd that he didn't have any clothing. And there's no body in the desert, but it's just, it's interesting, and there's no way to really say for sure. There's another theory that maybe Daniel just wanted to leave his life. I mean, maybe he just walked away. He could have packed other clothes. He could have taken the cash that was in his wallet. I mean, it's possible, but it's super hard to do. There's been a lot of people that have tried to start their life over, and with everyone in the nation looking for this missing person, it's very hard to assume a different identity. And especially for Daniel, because he does have that half of a right arm. So he's very easy to spot and identify. There's a possibility that Daniel could have been having a mental break. And in things like this, it doesn't make sense because mental health disorders don't make sense. I mean, could he have crashed the car himself, seeing something, or just because, and then maybe he got hot in the desert, took his clothes off, and then tried to walk for help? I mean, anything is possible. The circumstances around this case, though, they're just odd. I have no idea what happened to Daniel, and I really hope that we get some answers soon. More and more time that ticks by, more and more likely that he is deceased. I hope not, but for his family's sake, I hope something happens in this case. However, there is a million ways that you can help in this case. His dad, Daniel's dad, David, is out boots on the ground looking for his son. He is in the hot desert and looking himself. So if you would like to get involved in a search to help him, you can go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. You can also find them on social media, and they post when they're doing searches for Daniel. You can also go and sign this online petition. I did it. It took 2 minutes maybe. You put your name and your email, and I think you can do it anonymously. But this petition is to help get this case upgraded. Right now, it's just a missing person. If we upgrade it to a missing endangered person or a homicide case, more information can be out there. We can get more resources, we can get a lot more information. Daniel's family has really struggled in trying to find more information to help him. Crime Junkie, which is a podcast on Spotify. If you're not listening to it, listen. But they are big advocates for having a If I Go Missing folder, which is just something that you can give someone you trust with your passwords, how to get into your bank to check if there's been any movement in your bank since you've gone missing, online passwords for social media, things that people need in trying to help find you. Phone records is a huge help in these cases. There has been people found because of phone records. So I really encourage you, do a If I Go Missing folder, and that way if something does happen to you, your family can do all that they can. In Daniel's case, they had a hard time. They had a hard time getting released the records for his phone and his bank account, but there's been no movement on either. Also, you can help Daniel by just getting the word out. Share his missing person poster, share this video, share his name, keep talking about it, because this is a case that needs more attention. Now, I know that this case is crazy, but it is not the only one. As I was researching Daniel's case, it kind of all pieced together for me that this is not a one-off situation. I mean, I had known about Bryce Lapisa before. I had known about other cases of young men, going missing, and there's no body. And as I was researching this case, a lot of similarities happened. and a lot more people have the same circumstances. A young man go missing in a car, just gone under weird circumstances. And I know that Crime Junkie did an episode featuring 3 cases of young men in cars going missing. But I would like to showcase a lot more and see if we can find a pattern here. So that's something that I'm working on that is coming up. If you have any cases that sound similar to this, please drop them below so that I can research them and feature them in a video. But this case sent me on a rabbit hole like no other. It's intense. So let's help find Daniel and bring him home to his family. As always, if you like this video or like any of my content, please help me out. Please hit that subscribe button. Please share this video, give it a like. If you're in the true crime community and you like my content, I would love to have you join our community. I really want this to be a discussion, and I really do engage with you guys. So please, please, please help me out. Let's grow and let's get more stories out there. So thank you guys for all the support, and I will see you guys next time with another story. Bye. Hey guys, thank you for watching. If you liked this video or any of my other content, please click the subscribe button and the bell and the like button to help me with my content and my channel as it grows. Also follow me on social media platforms. Right now my biggest form of communication outside of YouTube is TikTok, so please add me on there. I make some funny true crime content on there. So thank you guys for watching. Love you.